In a world where the line between reality and fantasy fades away, where silence carries a secret, and every whisper tells a story. Welcome to The Whisper of the Narrator. Here, tales are not just told, they are lived. Souls are reborn through words of mystery and magic, where fear, passion, and destiny intertwine. Every story you hear here will awaken something within you. So listen closely. The whisper begins now. Are you ready to listen? Chapter 8. Fusing 100 Eggs. I know you're a powerful mage, kid. But no matter how powerful a mage is, they still need time to chant before they can cast a spell. Do you think we'll give you that chance? Wesley did not panic, even after seeing that Watson had noticed him. He pulled out a thin sword from his waist, and a layer of green light covered it and produced whistling wind blades. The wind blades was 3 inches long, and there were dozens of them, packed closely together. That was the tour de force that Wesley made his name with. The Windblade. It used wind element combat aura to compress the air, creating a blade that was as sharp as steel on his weapon. The technique was capable of killing a person in one hit from 10 meters away. Apart from the move's convenience, Wesley was also superior to Watson in terms of size. Although Watson was taller than a normal 10-year-old child, he was only about 1.4 meters. In comparison to the 1.8-meter-tall Wesley, Watson looked a little immature. In addition, Watson's head was not as thick as Wesley's thighs, so Wesley was very confident. Of the 4 subordinates behind Wesley, 2 were in charge of controlling the pentacolor fragrant chicken. The other 2 also drew their weapons, and their bodies emitted blue and yellow light. Watson saw everything and was slightly surprised. Is this the combat aura that warriors produce after training? He had only heard of combat aura before, but that was the first time he had actually seen it. Unlike mages whose power were stored in their souls and connected with the elements, the power of warriors was stored in their flesh and blood. The barrier formed by combat aura could not only cover weapons, but also protect oneself. The external release of combat aura was the symbol of an Iron Tier warrior. After reaching Bronze Tier, such external release could form a wonderful armor too. On top of that, a Silver Tier warrior could transform combat aura into wings and fly freely in the sky. However, Watson was unsure what abilities a Gold Tier warrior would have. Unlike the 2 subordinates who had rather thin combat aura, Wesley was very close to Bronze Tier, even though he had yet to reach that level. As a result, his Windblade spread along his weapon, around his right arm, and circled half his body. Watson had no doubt his bones would be sliced off if he touched the Windblades on the other party's body. He retracted his gaze after observing for a moment. It was the first time he had seen a warrior's cultivation method, so he was very curious about it. However, his feelings toward it were only to the extent of curiosity, and he was not at all afraid. In fact, he had already suspected something from their gazes when they came over. Barely seconds into the meal, Wesley's people started to ask about Edward, such as what his ancestors did, if there were any good farmers nearby, or if they knew any strong people. Watson's stupid father did not hold back on those topics. He said things like, "My ancestors were great nobles, but I left because of some reasons. And how can I possibly know anyone now that I'm living in this poor rural area?" Watson simply listened speechlessly. His father's brain had probably become damaged after trying to spawn every day. How could he reveal everything just like that, even if the other party did not want to rob the Pentacolor fragrant chicken? They would have wanted to after hearing his words. Watson originally did not plan to take out the Pentacolor fragrant chicken's eggs, but it was Edward who did not heed his dissuasion. He thought that Vincent could marry into the farm, and the family would have a backer from then on, so he insisted on using the eggs to show off and curry favor with the other party. As a consequence, the Pentacolor fragrant chicken was going to be robbed. Nevertheless, Watson was only a child. What was he supposed to say in front of his foolish father? "Wait, Wesley, don't attack my 8th brother. I'll leave the Pentacolor fragrant chicken to you. I'll go with you." Vincent had an anxious look on his face. He opened his arms and blocked Watson. When he saw his 8th brother summoning the wind and rain in the field, he knew that his brother was learning magic. Watson might not be weak, but he was only a child. Fighting was not a simple contest of strength. Any one of the guards on the opposite side had taken a few lives. If they really fought and there was bloodshed, Watson might even be afraid to execute his magic out of fear. The Pentacolor fragrant chicken was definitely going to be taken away, but at the very least, he had to protect Watson. Other than his second sibling, Watson was the only one who could learn magic. How could he explain to his parents if Watson ended up injured? "Vincent, I asked you to come with me just now, but you didn't. It's too late for you to agree now. Let me tell you the truth. I've always felt that a poor boy like you is not worthy of Our Lady. Master is just being kind. Do you really think that he cares about your 100 gold coins? Just stay here obediently and teach your brother a good lesson. Let him know that he shouldn't provoke people that he couldn't provoke." Wesley snorted coldly. He never wanted to bring Vincent along with him in the first place. When a mere kid like Watson dared to stop him, he simply used it as an excuse. With the Pentacolor fragrant chicken in his hands, he could not be bothered to waste any more time. He no longer voiced out the excuse of protecting, not robbing. "Wesley, are you taking this Pentacolor fragrant chicken from my family for nothing?" Vincent's face turned pale. Then, with a deep anger, he pulled out the huge sword that was as thick as the door from behind him. There was nothing left in the family after the chicken was taken away, and he was no longer allowed to marry into the family. Such a turn of events could drive anyone to their deaths. He had worked under List for a long time, and he did so in a hard-working manner, despite getting no recognition. Why did he have to be treated like that? His anger was about to burst from his chest, but Vincent did not dare to attack directly. If they really did fight, the entire family would be in trouble. So what if I took it for nothing? Get lost if you don't want to die. Wesley waved his hand impatiently. He just wanted to steal a chicken in exchange for his own bright future. Why was Vincent so oblivious about what was good for him? They were both people with arms, legs, and a complete body. Vincent could still go out to work, even without the pentacolor fragrant chicken, and the family would not starve to death. Why did he have to anger Wesley? Why did he have to fight to the death with everyone? Wesley did not want to make a move, if possible. He wanted to avoid killing that destitute Baron's family if he could. Big brother, there's no need to say unnecessary words. Fists speak louder than words. Watson walked out from behind Vincent and patted his big brother's shoulder. Big brother, I just want to ask you one thing. Do you want our families to be related by marriage because you like their daughter? If so, it's fine if you want to give this chicken to them as a betrothal gift. Ever since Watson fused the pentacolor fragrant chicken, he knew that the precious magical beast would attract the attention of other people sooner or later. However, he did not care, because his brother's happiness was more important. What had his brother been doing outside all this time? Was it not to lighten the family's burden and let his younger siblings have more food? He was a transmigrator, but he was also one of the men in the family. Moreover, he had the system. If he lost one pentacolor fragrant chicken, he could capture 1,000 hens and fuse it to make a new one. Vincent was shocked by Watson's words. Was that the same dull-witted little brother from before? Why did he feel that Watson was much calmer and more intelligent than an adult like him? Then, Vincent sensed the affection in Watson's words and shook his head before saying resentfully, "Eighth brother, I'm the one who has let you down. To be honest, I've only met that young lady a few times. There's no such thing as liking or disliking her. I just wanted to marry into the family so I could get some property and take care of all of you. Don't worry, after losing this pentacolor fragrant chicken, I'll definitely get you a new one, even if I have to travel all the way." It was all his fault. He had brought that disaster upon them because he wanted to take a shortcut and marry a rich woman. He had let both his family and his eighth brother down. I'm relieved to hear your words. Leave the rest to me. You don't have to worry about anything. Watson walked towards Wesley and raised his right hand. Only then did everyone realize that Watson was holding a basket. The basket was covered with a black cloth, and no one knew what was inside. "What are you doing, kid?" Wesley tightened his grip on his weapon and was surprised at Watson's calmness. "Take a guess." Watson calmly said these two words and lifted the black cloth. There were nearly 100 colorful eggs inside. All the remaining eggs in the house were there. "Kid, don't tell me you're giving us eggs in exchange for us to leave the pentacolor fragrant chicken behind? Wesley and his subordinates laughed loudly. What an idiot. Eggs were not as valuable as the pentacolor fragrant chicken itself. With it, there was no need to worry about having no eggs. However, they certainly would not spare all those eggs after laying their eyes on them. Watson's expression became colder and colder. If you want to eat the eggs laid by Emperor Cluck, you're not worthy. It went without saying that he took out those eggs for himself to eat. An egg could increase a person's lifespan by 1 year. 100 caddies of strength. What effect would fusing 100 eggs produce? Could it directly increase his lifespan by several decades and make him infinitely strong? System detected that owner wishes to fuse. Target confirmed. Shall the fusion be initiated right now? Fuse. And so, the whisper fades. But the story never truly ends. Each tale hides within it a new beginning. Perhaps even another life waiting to be told. You've been listening to The Whisper of the Narrator. If this journey touched your soul, don't let it end here. Subscribe, stay, and listen again. For the next whisper will be deeper, darker, and more beautiful.